Man, I don't know if you guys have ever really paid much attention to CERN, and the creepy, freaky things that they're trying to do. But I watched this video earlier that was tying in Caesar to being the Antichrist, because in the Bible it says that they're going to rise from the abyss, from the bottomless pit, and how the Antichrist will be someone that once was but is not now but will be again. As in, they were alive, they died, but they'll come back. And how CERN is pretty much busting open gateways to other dimensions. And so it kind of brought the thought and theory of it just might be CERN that allows the Antichrist to rise with what they're doing. And a lot of people out there are going to think this is crazy, you know, oh, whatever, that's far-fetched. But look what they're doing right in front of your eyes. Not just CERN. Look at the world. Look at the kind of movies they're pushing, the kind of ideologies that they want kids to get into, magic and new age stuff. And, you know, the highest grossing films lately have been films that include, you know, different dimensions and superheroes and multiverses and portals and all that kind of stuff. And gods, not God, but gods, lowercase g, all that. So it's really not that far-fetched. I just feel like a lot of people would rather be sleeping blissfully than be aware of what's actually happening. But it's not going to help them much when they die and they realize that what they didn't want to believe is real, and there's no turning back from that. So we're going to watch this video. It's called Something Weird Just Happened at CERN That No One Can Explain. It's by Cosmo's Lab, and it's not like a video breaking down some kind of like satanic stuff going on at CERN. It's just kind of showing what they want to show. But I just want to see if we can, you know, pick anything out that they're just kind of broadcasting without anyone expecting to catch on. So yeah, let's get into that.
Of one of the most elusive particles ever known. They're called neutrinos, and they're absolutely everywhere.
It sails out at very close to the speed of light.
3.7 billion years later, they reached Earth.
The scientific community is about to be flipped upside down when experts at Europe's CERN Large Hadron Collider rush to double-check their work in an experiment that appears to have violated modern physics laws. Scientists working at the facility revealed that subatomic neutrino particles may have gone faster than the speed of light through the...
And remember, Satan mimics what God can do. He can't be God. He wants to be God. So he likes to pervert things that God does, and he tries to do them himself. He's not an original creator of any kind. He mimics what God already does. So is it very far-fetched to think that he's using humans to replicate raising the dead at CERN? Is that really that far-fetched to think that he's using us and the things that we can do to open the portal into his world and where he's at? I don't think it's that far-fetched, dude. He already manipulates us in many, many other ways, and I don't think it's very far-fetched to, you know, guide a whole bunch of godless people into doing something like this. So, yeah.
The 17-mile, 27-kilometer long particle collider. The only problem is that nothing can travel faster than light. What is the latest shocking discovery, and what does it mean for the world of physics? Stay with us until the end to learn all about this bizarre discovery. Albert Einstein, the father of modern physics, developed his special theory of relativity on the fundamental law that nothing can move faster than the speed of light, 299,792,458 meters per second. If the experiment at CERN turns out to be accurate, then Einstein's theories, which have laid the way for innumerable technological achievements in the last century, may only be scraping the surface of a far more complicated physical nature of our reality. In recent decades, quantum physics, or the science of reality at the subatomic level, has spread new and fascinating notions. such as the presence of wormholes, multiple dimensions, and the possibility of time travel. Indeed, the entire goal of CERN's research is to collide particles at high speeds in order to eventually isolate and verify the existence of the Higgs boson particle, sometimes known as the God particle. This is thought.
Dan, how about that? They call it the God particle. Wonder why. You know, a lot of people like to think that science and spirituality and religion and all that are separate, but I think it's quite the contrary. I think it is quite the contrary. I don't know why humans decided to separate science from God. Probably because science seems tangible. But I think that they're one and the same. I really do. And I think we're going to end up finding things that we didn't want to find, or things most of the world didn't want to find that didn't know they didn't want to find it, but we got rich, elite people. And I say elite loosely, but people working in higher places that know what they're searching for. And it's funny because just like when Jesus was here and a prophecy had to be filled and carried out for him to end up dying on the cross, all those people were literally fulfilling the prophecy without even being aware that they're fulfilling the prophecy. And I find that super interesting that they weren't even aware of it. And they were doing it. They were living it. The Messiah came and he ended up dying. I mean, but they all thought that the Messiah was going to be some kind of war hero. And he wasn't. He was there to try to save as many souls as he could and let them know that they need to repent to find salvation. And I think even in these days right now, we're literally living in a prophecy. And there are so many people that are like, no, that's not really happening. That's fake. Man wrote that, yada, yada, yada. All the meanwhile, everything that's happening was predicted. And I think that's just super crazy to ignore things like that. How many coincidences do you need before you're finally like, that might not be a coincidence? Like, how many of them do you need, really? So I feel like we're just going to live out the prophecy of doing stuff like CERN and searching in science and ended up finding something like that. Or if people at a higher level are actually willingly looking for it, and all of a sudden the world's going to be like, what? That the Antichrist is going to come. He's going to fool most of the world. Then Jesus is going to come, and it's going to be too late. It'll be too late because they've been told numbers of times what to do and what to look out for, and they ignored it. They decided not to pay attention to it. And it's right in front of our eyes. It's right there. So it's wild to me. I think we're living in a prophecy, and we're doing it just like what happened when Christ was here, somehow ignoring the prophecy that we're fulfilling.
Thought to be the smallest particle known to exist. It has been hypothesized that this particle may carry clues as to the precise nature of the strong force, which is defined as an extraordinarily powerful attraction force that works on the subatomic level to keep together particles of the same polarity that might otherwise repel one another. Think magnets repelling one another. However, in their quest of the Higgs boson particle, these researchers have achieved a slew of other astounding results. CERN, for example, isolated antimatter for 1,000 seconds only a few months ago. This recent discovery, on the other hand, is much more groundbreaking and might pave the way for previously unimagined technology, because anything that travels faster than light can theoretically breach the time barrier. The researchers who made the discovery are now seeking peer evaluation of their data before formally asserting that it is correct. The feeling that most people have is this can't be right, this can't be real, said CERN spokesman James Gillies. The neutrino beam in issue was measured to be travelling 60 nanoseconds faster than the speed of light, with a margin of error of only 10 nanoseconds. Chang-Ki Zhang, a neutrino physicist at New York's Stony Brook University, believes the result is a consequence of a systematic error. The challenging part, according to Zhang, who is the US spokesperson for a comparable experiment in Japan called T2K, is correctly timing the time between when the neutrinos are born by slamming a burst of protons into a solid target and when they actually reach the detector. That timing is dependent on the global positioning system, and GPS readings can have tens of nanoseconds of uncertainty. I would be very interested in how they got a 10 nanosecond uncertainty, because from the systematics of GPS and the electronics, I think that's a very hard number to get. No previous observations clearly rule out the outcome, according to Kostelecki, who has spent the last 25 years constructing a theory called the Standard Model Extension that accounts for all possible sorts of special relativity breaches in the setting of particle physics. If you had told me that there was a claim of faster-than-light electrons, I would be a lot more skeptical, he says. Previous measurements limit the possibilities for neutrinos, he claims. Nonetheless, Kostelecki reiterates an old adage: extraordinary claims necessitate extraordinary evidence. Neutrinos are among nature's most enigmatic particles, capable of traveling through the Earth as if it did not exist. Every second, over 100 trillion neutrinos pass through your body completely harmlessly. The fact that neutrinos do not interact with other particles very frequently makes detection challenging. But this does not imply that they never interact. The likelihood of any individual neutrino interacting with another particle is simply very low. They have no interaction with the strong nuclear force that holds atomic nuclei together, but they do with the weak force that regulates radioactive decay. Ultimately, this is how neutrinos are created. For instance, the Catron experiment found the neutrino mass originating from the disintegration of tritium isotopes. Although many neutrinos were created in a fraction of a second after the Big Bang, many neutrinos are continuously produced today. They arise in the nucleus of stars, particle accelerators, and atomic reactors, as well as during supernovas and radioactive decay of substances. Despite the fact that neutrinos have proven to be difficult to study, physicists believe that neutrinos outnumber protons in the cosmos by 1 billion to 1. This is due to their ability to be neutral to the vast majority of chemicals in the universe, allowing billions of them to pass undetected through a square centimeter of your body.
Telling you, there's a lot that we don't understand about life and what it entails and so many other things, but we think that what we found so far means that that's all until you find more. 100 years ago, literally majority of the things that we know today, our cell phones, 4K TVs, so many things. 100 years ago, people were saying, well, that wouldn't be possible. Like, if you brought some of these ideas to somebody 100 years ago, their brain wouldn't even be able to comprehend it. So imagine all the things that we're going to have 100 years from now, if we have 100 years left. Because I think Jesus will be here before that, if you count down. So a day to God is 1,000 years. And technically, the second coming, Jesus is supposed to come back on the third day. And I do believe 2030 will be exactly 3,000 years since the resurrection of Jesus. So 2030 will be the beginning of the third day. Telling you, man, we all need to find Jesus, and I need to do a better job at living by him as well. It's so hard. I'm so caught up in my life, but we all need to get there, like, immediately.
Scientists had already trapped neutrinos prior to the LHC's discovery. The Super Kamiokon detector from Japan, the Mini Boon detector from Fermilab, and the Antarctic Ice Cube detector were all present. They were all able to detect neutrinos using a technique known as Cherenkov radiation. This Cherenkov radiation technique works in the same way that an aircraft exceeding the speed of sound produces a sonic boom. The particle is intended to pass through a material that slows light, leaving behind a faint blue glow that scientists are looking for. About 47 million light-years away, the heart of a black hole-filled galaxy termed NGC 1068 shoots out streams of neutrinos, the elusive ghost particles that haunt our cosmos while leaving little trace of their existence. Bundles of these intangible pieces explode through the cosmic void as soon as they exist. They speed by visible stars and areas of space packed with wonders we have yet to uncover. They continue to fly for an indefinite amount of time until on rare occasions they reach the south pole of the Earth and burrow deep there. The neutrino's journey is uninterrupted. Scientists, on the other hand, patiently await their arrival.
So they hit the South Pole and bury into the Earth? That's weird. That is strange to me.
Nestled into about 1 billion tons of ice, more than 2 kilometers, 1.24 miles beneath Antarctica, lies the IceCube Neutrino Observatory. IceCube will continue to keep a watchful eye out for any neutrinos that may bring their group to the icy continent. The worldwide team behind this complex experiment confirmed evidence of 79 high-energy neutrino emissions coming from around where NGC 1068 is located in a publication published November the 3rd in the journal Science, opening the door to novel and endlessly interesting sorts of physics. Scientists refer to it as neutrino astronomy. Until now, physicists had only seen neutrinos originating from the Sun, our planet's atmosphere, a chemical mechanism called radioactive decay, supernovas, and a blazar, or hungry supermassive black hole, pointing directly toward Earth. Due to IceCube's initial success in 2017, a void named TXS 0506+056. With the discovery of this new neutrino source, we are entering a new chapter in the history of the particle. According to the research team, neutrinos originating from NGC 1068 may have millions, billions, or even trillions of times the energy of neutrinos originating from the Sun or supernovas. Those are astounding figures, since in general such phantom particles are so powerful but evasive that trillions upon trillions of neutrinos pass through your body every second. You simply cannot tell. And if you wanted to stop a neutrino in its tracks, you'd have to combat it with a 1 light-year wide block of lead, and even then, you'd only have a minuscule chance of success. Thus, whether we use NGC 1068's version or not, harnessing these particles could allow us to explore portions of the universe that are normally out of reach.
Okay, so they found this particle. They know it's there and they're trying to get it, pretty much. They're trying to capture this particle. I'm telling you, dude, I just think that there's some things that we shouldn't dive into, and I think sometimes science is going to lead us into something that we are probably not going to want to lead into. And I think that we get very misled with movies and spaceships and, humanity growing into space and exploring and inhabiting other planets. I just don't think that's going to happen, dude. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's why we're here. I don't think that's what's meant to happen. Like, yeah, it's a cool thing to believe and grow up learning and have that mindset and be really interested in space and movies and all that kind of stuff until you learn God and you learn about Jesus, and all of a sudden you start seeing things in a different light, and things that just didn't make sense before start making sense in very concerning ways. We are a species that loves to sin, and we love our dark and evil desires. We like exploring, we like creating, we like diving into things that we shouldn't be diving into. It is our nature, and will ultimately be the downfall of humanity. Life-wise and soul-wise. It's just crazy, dude. Let me know what you guys think. If you've ever gone down the rabbit hole about CERN. I'll have to do another video of the rabbit holes that I've gone down and what I'm talking about when it comes to CERN, because it gets wild, dude. Like, let me show you Come on. Let me show you the statue that they have right outside CERN Shiva. Yeah, they have a statue of Shiva, which is technically the angel with the key to hell or the abyss. Some kind of goddess or god that's... Oh my gosh, why is my computer doing that? This right here. Why would a science-driven place like CERN have a statue of Shiva? This is the goddess of destruction, who supposedly is an angel in hell that has the key to hell and is in the abyss. Something in that line of context of the Bible and whatnot, or something like that. I can't quite remember, so don't fully quote me on that, but I do know that this is supposedly the goddess of destruction named Shiva, and goes by another name as well, which is the actual name of the angel that is the angel of destruction down in the abyss, and it all connects, but I'm just doing a horrible job at connecting it right now. But tell me, why does CERN need this statue? Why would they put this statue out there? Huh? Why? Why would they do that? Oh, don't even get me started on the CERN logo. How you take apart these and, you know, you got a 6, or it's 6, 6, and then another 6 going on. It gets trippy, I'm telling you. CERN logo being 666, the god of Shiva, or the goddess Shiva. But they're all about science, so why would they believe in any goddess? Why would they have that? Why don't they have a statue of a freaking particle or something like that? You know, something, the Big Bang, something has to do with science. No, they have a demonic goddess. Then, just another thing I want to show you. Shiva pose. See if I can find it. Oh, yeah. Mr. Obama himself right there. How about that? Coincidence? Come on. That... They put these things right in our faces, bro. Like, they really put these things directly in our faces, and no one pays attention to it. I mean, there are people out there paying attention to it, but not enough people. And that's disturbing. That worries me, dude. That people are that freaking blind. Look at that. Money, house, the world, war, dove, whatever that is right there. I'm not sure what that is. And it says God of all things. And that was in Newsweek. It's a Newsweek article. Yeah. So, I recommend you guys diving down this rabbit hole because it gets very interesting. And I guess I'm going to have to do a video of it myself and put it up because it gets crazy, dude. It is so interesting to look into. And mind explosions for real. So let me know what you guys think, and if you guys would like a video of me deep diving into that, because I'll probably do it anyways, but I just really want to know what your thoughts are about it. So yeah, that's really all I want to talk about today. So I'll see you guys later.